After Apple sending me a letter threatening to sue me, losing $1,000 in just one day, and then breaking even for 3.5 months, I finally cracked the code on dropshipping. I was put through the ringer, that's for sure. But it wasn't luck, it wasn't cold showers at 4 in the morning. There were certain variables that I stumbled upon by A/B testing for months that actually turned my money-draining dropshipping pipe dream into my current reality. I now have hit the 7-figure mark on multiple stores, quit my 9-to-5 job back in 2020, and finally lived that laptop lifestyle that I've always dreamed of. But it wasn't always like this. I know what it's like to be in your shoes, starting from scratch, hitting multiple roadblocks and failures. Trust me, I've been there and I feel your struggle. But I condensed exactly what I learned along my journey and how I actually became part of the 10% dropshippers that have success. Hopefully this video motivates some of you guys that haven't hit that winning stride yet. And if this is you, pay attention because I'm gonna be talking about the things that actually moved the needle for my business and how it actually became successful. These tips that worked for me might just turn around your dropshipping career completely. All right, let's get right into it. So in 2018, I just graduated college and I actually accepted a job offer in Los Angeles doing supply chain management for a medical device company. I was going the safe route with a steady income, but I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. I've been selling things since I was a kid. And the idea of working for myself has always been my goal and something I knew I wanted to do. Probably like a lot of you guys out there watching this. I then stumbled across dropshipping on YouTube from people like Biaheza making videos about how much success he's had at such a young age. And I thought this would be a great option because the only thing I really needed to start was a laptop. After I finally decided to give it a go, I quickly realized that there was a lot more that meets the eye in dropshipping. You have to think about what kind of product you want to sell, how you're going to advertise that product, what price point you want to sell it at, how to find a supplier, how and where to create ads, and what are you going to do with fulfillment. It was a little overwhelming, but I knew that I was mainly going to take the currency that I was willing to spend, which was my time. So I started a store around replica AirPods and I reached out to influencers on YouTube that did like tech reviews and tech channels of new products and replicas. And what I did was I cold emailed them and I asked them, hey, if you could do a review of some of my products, I'll send them all to you for free. I'll give you guys a discount code to share with your followers or subscribers. And all you have to do is give an honest review of the product, whether you like them or don't like them. And a good amount of them actually replied and they were willing to do it. I think I got anywhere from like 7 to 10 YouTube channels to do reviews, and the biggest one was 750,000 subscribers. This actually worked out pretty well and it started making me a decent amount of sales. And I thought to myself at the time, I was like, wow, this is so much easier than I thought. I thought ads were gonna be the hardest thing. I thought marketing was gonna be the hardest thing, and I could just reach out to these influencers to do reviews and I'm gonna get money and generate income from this. And then I quickly approached $10,000 in sales. But that's when the major problem happened. I received a cease and desist letter from Apple stating that I couldn't sell the products anymore because it was infringing on copyright. I was obviously scared and shut down the store very quickly because I didn't really have a choice. Also, Shopify gave me a DMCA takedown notice, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically where you're infringing on copyright and they're taking down your store. Like literally will shut down your store for you. I didn't have much of an option besides shutting down the store completely. I was really disappointed because I thought I kind of figured out the winning formula, especially for advertisements and selling products online. I thought it was that easy. And after generating $10,000 in sales so quickly, I was like, I'm gonna be able to quit my job so fast. This is gonna be great. But what it did was actually give me the taste of success and the proof of concept in e-com and dropshipping in general. And I knew that I could do it. I just knew I had to do it more of a legal way, right? And I also had to do it in more of a sustainable way, right? Because eventually you're gonna run out of influencers that want to do reviews of your product, and they might actually be saturating the YouTube market, right? If there's too many reviews of the same product and the same website selling that product, I think you just would get less views over time. So there wasn't much sustainability with the growth there, and I realized that. And that's when I started my second store. This time I focused in the beauty niche, mainly on beauty tools. And I was looking at tools that had no chance of breaking any rules, breaking any copyright, and I would have been good to go. Then I found the product that I wanted to sell. I set up the website, pretty much did it the exact same way I did it before. But this time I decided to go the route of paid traffic rather than reaching out to influencers because I knew it'd be a little bit harder in the beauty niche for some reason. I think that there's less like beauty tool reviewers at the time than there was like tech reviewing. And I also wanted that sustainable growth, right? I didn't want to just rely on these influencers to hopefully post a quality ad essentially for me. I'd rather just take it into my own hands. I just thought it would be more consistent and I could scale higher. But little did I know that paid traffic is completely different than influencer marketing, right? It can be way more stressful because you have money on the line now that you can potentially lose. I started testing out video ads on Facebook and Instagram, and they really didn't perform that well. I was disappointed because I was starting to lose some of that money that I gained from the AirPods business, but I knew after watching some videos and realizing quickly that it was gonna take a lot of trial and error on the paid traffic side to actually figure out what works and what's gonna actually move the needle. I then decided to test out image ads because I heard that they were cheaper than video ads, and I launched a couple of terrible looking image ads that really lacked anything that makes up a good ad at all. But despite the poor quality of these ads, I actually made some sales. Now, it wasn't anything crazy and it wasn't even profitable, but the fact that I was getting sales at all was kind of proving that proof of concept again. So I knew people wanted the product. I knew my website was decently converting. I knew the ads could be definitely improved. I knew that if I just kept tweaking certain variables, I would eventually become profitable and then hopefully scale it up to where I could make enough money. Well, at the time I wanted to make enough money just to cover my rent, which is kind of funny looking back at it now. But all in all, I just wanted to make a little bit of money, right? So I tested a ton of different ads for 3 months straight and I was breaking even. So I was making enough sales to cover the cost of ads and the product costs and the Shopify fees, but I really wasn't having any profit. There'd be days where I'd lose 25 bucks and a couple days where I'd make 25 bucks or maybe 30 bucks. But it kept going back and forth. There was no consistency or really success. During this time, I was spending so much time focusing on the wrong things. I was focusing so much on the website itself. I was testing the colors of the buttons, the verbiage that was used on like the checkout button, like copying Amazon, then copying eBay. Because I was like, oh, these websites are very converting. Maybe I should use their colorway. Maybe I should use what they say on their buttons. And I would change something almost every single day, thinking that one of these little changes was actually going to move the needle and I was going to become profitable overnight. My conversion rate was going to go from 1% to 10. But now I know that's not what's actually going to move the needle. You do have to have a converting website. It does have to look professional. You want people to feel safe checking out from it. But that's not really why people buy from Amazon or eBay. Now let me tell you what my needle movers were that actually changed the whole trajectory of this store and made me successful and actually kind of made me to where I'm at today. You can apply all of these tips to your website, and basically this is me telling you what you should be focusing on, especially in the beginning. The first thing that you need to be focusing on is the offer. You want to create an offer that is almost too good to refuse. I personally did this by drastically lowering the price. And you're probably thinking, okay, if you lowered the price, how are you even covering your ad costs? How are you even covering your product costs? I'll explain that, but let me tell you exactly how low I brought the product price. My idea was to beat Amazon's pricing. And the reason for this is because I wanted a really high conversion rate. I was selling low to medium ticket items, so I really had to have a high conversion rate. And with low to medium ticket items, if you're selling them, you're really capturing a lot of the buyer impulse rather than trying to convince them very, very heavily to buy your product. And so my idea was if I could beat Amazon's prices, they're gonna purchase from me without a doubt, as long as my website looks good. Because even if they go shop somewhere else or look on Amazon, look on eBay or wherever else, they're gonna see that my price is lower. And I branded my websites enough to make it look like I was like the original one selling it for cheaper than Amazon even. So a lot of people started purchasing from me and that really helped my conversion rate. And now going back to the topic of how did you even afford to do that, right? Undercutting Amazon, that's very, very hard to do. It is. But I noticed when I cut the product price under Amazon's, the conversion rate went a lot higher. And I noticed that I was still breaking even. I wasn't really profitable. The conversion rate made up for the price difference and it still left me at the break even point. But my conversion rate was higher. So I was like, I'm capturing all these customers. How can I actually make money from them individually? And that's when the second piece came in, and that was upsells. I now found a product that was selling. It had a high conversion rate, but I was breaking even because I was selling it for so cheap. Now I needed to have upsells put onto my website that perfectly complemented the product that I was already selling. And I added those upsells in an in-cart upsell. So when people added it to the cart, it popped up and said, hey, do you want to add this item to match your X item? And after going through the same process of A/B testing which products were perfectly aligned with the original product or the hero product, I ended up getting an upsell conversion rate of 40%. So every 10 people that checked out, 4 of them bought the upsell, and some even bought 2 of the original item. And now this basically cut my ad costs in half almost, right? So every person that added an upsell product or a second product and checked out, I was still only paying Facebook 1 cost per conversion, right? It was like I was getting double the amount of sales essentially. It was the LTV of the customer, the lifetime value of them, and the AOV, right? So the average order value helped with that. So now instead of buying this product for $12, they were now buying 2 products for $24, and my ad cost and cost per purchase was the same as before. That's where I started making up a lot of margin. And this is when I first started seeing some profitability, so it was great. But the last thing that really pushed it over the top was marketing angles. After learning about what marketing angles were and how you could really use them to convince a customer to click on your ad and purchase from you, it was a total game changer. And this is something you really need to spend a lot of time looking at. This didn't help as much on the conversion rate, but it helped on the ad front, right? So my cost per link click was getting lower and my CPMs were going lower as well because I was creating good ads with good marketing angles. I pretty much updated all of my image ads. They used to say things like, get 10% off today, or this is the only face beauty tool that you need. Very boring, right? Then I started switching them to something that I learned about called the passive system, or pain, agitate, and solve. So for my copy, I looked up the most common skin problems in America, and then I updated the ad accordingly. Then the ads went from get these today 10% off to are you frustrated that you can't get your skin redness under control? It's embarrassing and lowers your confidence, and it can affect your overall well-being. Jade rollers have been proven to reduce redness and irritation in those that use it. Click to learn more. So my marketing angles went from get this product today for 10% off to pain, agitate, and solve, showing the pain of a very common problem, agitating it by saying it's embarrassing and you're lowering your confidence, and then solving it with my product and how it's gonna help you. That's when I started seeing really low cost per link click and CPMs. It was pretty crazy. At some points, I was getting 10 cents cost per link click on a conversion ad, which is absolutely insane. But all in all, those are the 3 things that really helped me move the needle in my store, and I know that you can apply these things in your store respectively to whatever niche that you're in, and I guarantee you that they will help you in some form. You'll see better metrics. So if you're struggling, you're new to dropshipping, new to e-commerce in general, focus on marketing angles, upsells, and a highly converting offer. Spend a lot of time doing this. It's really gonna help you out. I hope that this video was motivational. I hope that it inspired you and kind of gave you some background of how I actually got started and what variables that I changed that actually made a big difference to me. If you did, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below on what video you wanna see next. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.